So what happened was around 6 o'clock last night or so on the 15th. I get in contact with someone, if you listen to the show, Anthony Williams. And in case you don't know, Anthony is a military intelligence analyst, veteran, served multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, was there at the fall of Afghanistan when that happened. So he's been around, and he has a very illustrious career in the military and in intelligence. So, from time to time, of course, we talk here on the show, but we also talk privately to keep up with each other. So last night during that conversation, we started talking about, of course, the congressional hearing. He's asking, how did it go? What was my impressions of it? And, all the different stories. And I brought up the video, and I started telling him the backstory about how I came across the knowledge that video was going to be played during the congressional hearing. If you remember from a previous episode, from the recap episode just last week, I had mentioned that I was given that information that the UFO video getting shot by the missile was going to be shown a few days before the hearing. I knew that video was coming. And so I was telling Anthony the backstory to that. Again, just a private conversation. And then he kind of dropped some bombs on me. And the funny thing was, I don't even think he realized that he was dropping these bombs. And I said, dude, you do realize this is massive information, right? And I explicitly asked, I said, is it okay if I pass this along? He said yes. And that's when I sent out that tweet last night, and I decided I have to do the episode about this. So the big speculation about this video from the start was, and even Eric Burleson said, was this real? Is this a real video, or was this AI generated? Let alone prosaic explanations like a balloon or something else, or a bird or something that, whatever people want to talk about. First of all, is it a real video? The answer is yes. It is a real video. Why do we know that? Because Anthony let me know that he has seen this video before. He studied this video. He analyzed this video along with his fellow analysts when it came out maybe a few years ago or so. I forget the exact timeline, say somewhere within the past 5 years. I could be off on that by a couple of years, but forgive me. Somewhere around the past 5 years when this video came out. When he saw the video on the news, on the congressional hearing, his first thought was, I've seen this video before. I've analyzed it. And he was shocked, actually, at everybody's reaction, because when he saw the video, his thought was, I've seen other videos like this. So this is kind of like an everyday thing. But when the general public saw the UFO get hit by the missile with the 3 pieces of whatever come out from behind the UFO, we obviously had a very different reaction, because we're not privy to the videos that Anthony Williams, and military, intelligence analyst, gets to see and review on a day-to-day basis. So he lets me know, yeah, I've seen that video before. I studied it. I analyzed it. It's the real deal. We don't know what it was. And it wasn't just Anthony that analyzed this video. Again, his fellow analysts, and the term that he used was, we just kind of threw our hands up, like, we kept trying to pass it off and say, do you know what this is? How about you? Do you know what this is? Let's try to figure this out. And they crossed off all of the explanations, including balloon. I explicitly asked Anthony, was this a balloon? Again, last night in a conversation off the air. His answer was, and I'm quoting here, most definitely not a balloon. That was his answer. So that was one of the big things being talked about here when it came to this video, this Hellfire missile hitting the UFO. That, it's just a balloon, and it can be explained because of the angle that's being shot at. And we saw this with the Chinese spy balloon. It came down at a different, or a similar trajectory. It acts just like it. No, not at all. Most definitely not a balloon, is what I've been told by the analysts who analyzed this video a few years back, before you and I ever saw it, before Eric Burleson ever saw it, quite frankly. So that is one of the things that I considered to be a game changer. Confirmation that this video of a missile hitting a UFO, bouncing off, and the UFO continues on is a real video. This is not AI. This was not made up. I know a lot of people were disparaging it when they found out that it was a dead drop, as Eric Burleson called it. It was dead drop to him. Doesn't know where it came from or who sent it to him. And a lot of people speculated, well, then just throw it out because we had no chain of custody. There's no chain of custody, which means we can't verify this is a real video. I'm verifying it for you. This is verified. This is the verification process right now. This is a real video. And that, to me, is a game changer because that evolves the conversation on this subject. Now that we know it's real, what does that mean? A Hellfire missile, which I was told last night with Anthony Williams, was made. Okay, I didn't know this. Maybe you did. Maybe this was talked about already, and shame on me for not knowing. I don't know. But the Hellfire missile was manufactured as a tank-piercing piece of artillery. That's why the Hellfire missile was even invented to begin with. It goes through tanks. It goes through tank armor. That's why they're there. That's why we use them. So this missile that was shot at a UFO, a UAP, and bounced off of it is originally used to shoot through tanks. So that's another piece of information, needless to say, that I found very intriguing. What kind of material was this thing, whatever it is? Is it organic? Is it organic life that's flying? Is it a life form? I don't know. Is it a craft? Is it a drone? Is it reconnaissance? Is it, one of the orbs in, this sphere network that has been brought up before? I had Patrick Jackson on the show here a couple months back, and he spoke about the sphere network. Is that what one of these things was? The fact of the matter is, that obviously there's still questions here, but the fact of the matter is, the video is real. The Hellfire missile that was fired at it is supposed to be used for tanks, and it bounced off. Now, what are the three things that are falling behind it? That's still speculation. That I don't know. But one of the other things that I asked Anthony was, well, what about the rest of the video? Like, if you've seen this video, if you analyzed this video, then that means you saw the whole video, right? Because again, in this situation, while it's happening in real time, I'm on the phone having this conversation. I'm trying to think of the questions that you would want to have answered. And one of the things that I thought about was, well, everybody kept talking about how the video cuts off. We don't see what happens after, maybe a few seconds after impact. The MQ-9 Reaper drone zooms out, and it seems as if the craft, or whatever this was, keeps on its merry way. Now, and then the video cuts off. So the point of speculation and the point of argument there, of course, was, well, we don't know if it fell into the water from there. Or was this some type of optical illusion where, because of the style of film that's being used from the Reaper drone, that we can't really tell that it's falling because of the angle, because of the quality of the video? We can't really tell that it was falling in those few seconds that we had after impact, or lack thereof, if you will. So that was one of the big questions. So I had to ask Anthony, what happened in the rest of the video? He saw about 2 minutes more of this video from what was shown to the public. And he let me know that this thing continued on. It did not fall. It was not falling into the ocean or to the sea off the coast of Yemen. It did not crash. It kept going at the same rate of speed until finally the video ends. It goes out of range, if you will. The drone stops following it. Like they gave up on it. So we have three major points of contention answered here. Number one, the video is real because it was analyzed by the military a few years ago, and they don't have answers for it. That's number one. It's not AI. The military isn't being duped, and this is not disinformation. Another thing, I just thought of that. One of the big questions, again, was this a disinformation campaign? Did somebody sabotage Eric Burleson into showing a faked video, into an AI video, or to a video that had an easy, prosaic explanation like a balloon? That question, according to the information I've been given, the answer to that question is an unequivocal no. This is not disinformation. This is not a faked or AI video, and it's not a balloon, because it's been analyzed and because it's been seen by different military analysts who don't know what the hell it is. And they can't explain how a Hellfire missile that was designed to break through a tank doesn't destroy this thing. Now, we don't know, again, the three pieces that break off of it, that could be some type of indication that there was damage. We don't know. Are those pieces of whatever this was? Or was it some type of defense mechanism? Like, you know, a flare system? Like a C-130 would spout out flares, or any type of fighter jet would spout out flares to stop an incoming missile impact? If that's the case, though, why would it not use that defense system when the missile was incoming? Furthermore, why did it not retaliate? Think about that for a second. I thought about that question before I started recording here today. If this is some type of higher advanced technology from somewhere or something, if that's what we're looking at here, why is it not retaliating when it gets shot by a missile? The only explanation that I can think of, and I'll use an analogy here as a little brother, okay? I have a big brother, and I think back to the days of childhood where I would go up and start hitting my big brother, right? We get into a fight, we get into an argument, then I start punching, I start wailing on him. Am I doing anything to hurt him? No. I'm a little kid. I'm 7 years old, and my brother was in high school. I'm not hurting him. He stood there and he took it. And then he laughed and, you know, kind of nudged me away. Is that what we're looking at? Are we looking at a big brother, little brother type of situation where it's like, okay, and I'll let you hit me. That's cute. And I'm, you know, go sit down, watch your cartoons. Have a good day. I'm going to go about my way now. That's the only explanation I can think of as to, and I'm sure there are other explanations, but I shouldn't say only, but it's the most reasonable explanation that popped into my head right off the bat. Is this a big brother, little brother type of situation where it's like, you know, you're just so much more powerful than the thing that's going after you, that, you know, if you retaliate, it's going to be really bad for that other lower form. You're going to hurt them badly. So you're not going to retaliate. That's what it feels like to me, because it got shot with a missile and then it keeps going. So it's fascinating to think about. And those were some of the things I was thinking about before I came on here today. But again, just to recap on some of these things, these big points of contention, and some of the questions I was asked last night after that tweet, even going into right now, before I started recording, to answer these questions. Not a disinformation campaign. Somebody apparently was really trying to help by dead dropping this to Eric Burleson to show the world that this video exists. The video is real. It's not AI. The quote I was given was, most definitely not a balloon. The Hellfire missile is used to pierce tanks and to destroy tanks, and it bounced off of this thing. The UFO keeps going. It does not crash into the sea. That's a huge, huge point. Once that video cuts off, there's still a couple minutes left to it. That's another thing to keep in mind. And in that couple minutes, it keeps going at the same rate of speed. So these are all things that we didn't know before. It never showed any signs of true damage or descent. It was not going down. And again, other analysts kind of throwing up their hands while looking at this video along with Anthony Williams and saying, we don't know what to do with this. And one of the things that really got me too is that how Anthony just kind of nonchalantly spoke about this with me last night, saying that, yeah, dude, there's plenty of videos like this. And I just have to kind of stop and think to myself, well, how many times have we done this? How many times have we shot at an alien craft? I'll say alien because we don't know what it is. So, in literally some type of unknown thing. How many times have we shot at one of these things with some type of artillery and nothing has happened? We only know about this because it was shown publicly by Eric Burleson at the UAP hearing. Otherwise, we would be going on our way, not even knowing that this video existed. So the fact that there are more videos like that or other videos of unexplained craft, much more apparently, according to Anthony, when he said that he's looked at a ton like that. Not necessarily things getting shot at. I shouldn't paint that with a broad brush, and I don't mean to, because I know that's not 100% of the videos that he's talking about. But there's a lot of different videos, ones like that, or very anomalous things that can't be figured out. One of the things that Anthony Williams actually brought up to me was a video that I released a few years ago. And it's worth bringing up just as a reminder, because this is one that he thought was really worthy of attention and for whatever reason didn't gain a lot of traction. But it was a video of 3 Tic Tac UFOs coming out of the water. Again, this video is out there. I released it. Maybe I'll try to go back into the annals of my Twitter to find it again, to re-release it. I mean, it would take a while for me to find it. So I'll see what I can do. But I think I had it on YouTube. I believe so. I'll have to go back and look. But anyway, these 3 Tic Tac UFOs come out of the water and circle a battleship. Kind of like what Chief Wiggins spoke about. It's actually very similar. Now that I think about it, as I'm talking about it here right now, very similar to what Chief Wiggins spoke about at the UAP hearing. And these 3 UAP Tic Tacs come out of the water, circle a battleship or submarine, one or the other, and then zoom off and they go back into the water. This video is out there. It's real. There are so many, again, some that we've seen, some that we haven't seen. But there's a lot of strange stuff that has not been shown to the public. And that goes back to what was spoken about at the hearing, where Eric Burleson and Nancy Mason, the other congressmen and women, spoke about, we need to see these videos. We need to see more things like this so we know what's going on and the American people can know what's going on. That's why Burleson released the video in the first place. He said it to me after the hearing in the quick interview I put out, where he said, we want to get these things out there. We want people to be able to decide, what are they looking at? It should not be hidden from the American public. And I'm 100% in agreement with that, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And which is why I asked the questions last night that I asked. This video is real. It lived on a secret network. I'm not sure I can name the network, so I don't want to put that out there. I'll just say a secret network where these videos live. There's a few different levels of the internet that us normies don't use, and one of those levels, one of those networks is where this video lived. So again, not disinformation, hugely important. Now you know why, for anybody who was getting at me on Twitter or anything like that. And I know it's just a few, and I know I shouldn't pay attention, but just to answer the naysayers, my opinion, and you can disagree, fantastic. That's totally fine. If you don't think it was that big a deal, by all means. My opinion, this felt like a game changer when I heard it. And as I'm reporting it to you right now, that this is a real video, that they used a missile that's normally shot at tanks and it kept going, that there's 2 minutes more to this video, that it doesn't go down into the sea, that it's most definitely not a balloon. There's a lot that was answered during this conversation, through this conversation, that I felt like was extremely worthy of presentation to you here today on this episode of UAP. So now the questions become, who did the dead drop, right? We don't know. We probably won't know, and that's fine. Quite honestly, we don't need to know that, because if this was somebody who, again, was just trying to do the right thing to offer information so that people could see it, and that if you dropped it without permission, that you don't want to get in trouble. I don't know the situation. I'm telling you right now, I do not know the situation of how this video ended up in Eric Burleson's hands. Quite frankly, I didn't ask. I don't want to know that. There's no reason for me to know that. All we know is that it did end up in his hands. I feel like if I know something like that, that could trace back to other people, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I never want to do that. The fact is that somebody did dead drop this to Eric Burleson, and now we know that it exists, and we've seen it, and it's real. Why were we shooting at it? That's another question that I've seen a lot, and I don't have the answer to that either. Now, I might be able to get an answer to that, but there was just so much going through my head during the conversation that I didn't get to ask that question, and that's on me. So I'll see if I can gain more information as time goes on, and I'll see if maybe we can even release the entire video. How nice would that be if we can get the whole video out there? But before I go here today, there was another story actually that I was told that I've never heard before, and I thought it was kind of fascinating, so I wanted to tell you. It goes back a few years. These two military members playing golf outside of one of the U.S. bases in Japan. They took a picture, and in the picture they saw a craft. Turns out that craft ended up being tracked that day. They tracked it going Mach 10, accelerating quickly to Mach 10. Think about that. How fast that is. This was not a SpaceX rocket. It wasn't Starlink. It wasn't a Chinese rocket that was launching. They knocked out all those possibilities. It wasn't some type of, SR-71 Blackbird. I don't even know if those are in commission anymore, or whatever aircraft that we could be using that would go that fast. This thing accelerated quickly to Mach 10 when it was tracked by the U.S. military. That was over Japan a few years ago. What are we seeing? What are these things? What is being shot at by a missile that's used for a tank only to keep going and not crash into the sea? These are all great questions. But the fact is it happened. And now we know that it's real. And I really wanted to get that information out to you today. So we'll see what comes next. That's all I can say right now.